money. Wally P, shout out my label, that's me.
Now, Lil Mabu. Have you heard the name or seen the face? If you guys aren't familiar with the name, Lil Mabu is an 18-year-old rapper out of New York who's making a lot of noise right now. I initially found out about Lil Mabu through this record from May 2021. It's called Demon Time, and it was actually his first official music video. It came out in 2021 and somehow hit my recommended section in its first week of being out, so I've been familiar with him ever since. I've watched this come up. I've seen this guy literally go from 20K on Instagram to almost 1 million at this point. His growth, especially after that Mathematical Disrespect song, has been kinda insane. It ended up actually charting on Billboard, which is crazy for someone who's as new as Mabu. I mean, this is the first time a lot of you are hearing about him, and he is a new face in the industry after all. Doesn't have a full-length project out, although he did drop a tape last summer which consisted of 7 records. As for this Mathematical Disrespect song, you know what? I actually like this shit, man. I caught myself going back to it after I saw the live performance visuals. Mabu ain't really the best rapper, let alone best drill rapper out there, but he does have a lot of character. He's very entertaining, doesn't take himself too seriously, which I like, and also I just fuck with the song. I think it's good. I'm still not completely sold on Lil Mabu as a rapper, but I think on a technical level, he actually is a decent rapper. I've most definitely heard worse. That aside, knowing me, I'm sure you realize that there's a reason why I'm talking about Lil Mabu. Around 2 weeks ago, 18-year-old Lil Mabu ended up going viral. Why exactly did he go viral, you may ask? Well, there was this article that went viral on Twitter, and here's the headline. New York drill rapper Lil Mabu is a upper crust, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant who attends a $60,000 a year Manhattan private school and whose parents have property portfolio worth $12 million. So a young Caucasian male who raps about that street life as a rapper. I wonder what the internet thinks about this. That sounds just like the kind of headline Twitter would have a field day with, right? And that actually happened. This article, which we will go through, went viral on Twitter, and it goes without saying it went viral for the wrong reasons. So the article, which is actually from earlier this year, in a nutshell uncovers a couple things about Lil Mabu's upbringing. He apparently comes from a wealthy background, so the boy got the bag before he got that rap bag, which in hip-hop, as a lot of y'all know, is very frowned upon, especially if you happen to be a young Caucasian male like Lil Mabu who talks about killing people. He's a culture vulture, he's an industry plant. Those are the kind of conversations being had about this. Like the article stated though, Mabu allegedly comes from a wealthy background, apparently goes to a private school on the Upper East Side of New York. In other words, his family got shmoney, right? He's a popular rapper in the controversial drill genre with over 2 million TikTok followers, the article says. But Lil Mabu has a surprising backstory as a senior at one of New York's oldest upscale private high schools. Lil Mabu, better known in class as Matthew Peter DeLuca, 17, has broken into the scene with support and recognition from established names like Tory Lanez, Lil Mosey, PNB Rock, and Rich the Kid. The lyrics to one of his songs, No Snitchin', reads, "I could never snitch, gang gang gang. That's on my kids. I put a chop on a blade, put a blade on a switch. Fuck a nigga bitch." I'm just kidding, he ain't say that last part. However, as a freshman at the $60,000 a year collegiate school on the Upper West Side, he was a student board member of Evangelizing Kids, Walk for MSK Kids. DeLuca currently lives on the Upper East Side of Manhattan in a 5-bed, 5-bath, 3,327 square foot condominium when he's not chilling at his folks' weekend house in the Hamptons. I gotta say, man, whoever put together this article gotta hate Mabu. I don't know what's so bad about your fam having a house in the Hamptons. I get it, this is somewhat of an expose, so that's why they're bringing all this energy. This article is way too biased for my taste though, but then again, it is by Daily Mail and they're kind of known for this type of thing. Moving on. Together, the family's properties are worth around $12 million, according to the New York Post. Now that sounds like a good life, don't it? Ain't this what all rappers dream about? Coming from money? So how come when someone ends up coming from money, it's a bad thing? On the real though, that's not really why Mabu's getting all this hate. I look at the response he's getting right now, and it could be boiled down to a couple things. One of them being the fact that people aren't too excited about seeing another rapper with the 6ix9ine archetype getting a bunch of success. Now the 6ix9ine archetype consists of 2 main things, and the first one is violent lyrical content. That's pretty straightforward. The linchpin, i.e. the connecting dot if you will, is that lyrical content is being promoted by a non-black rapper. That's the second. And the third, you're using antics as a way to get attention. As it relates to Mabu, he falls under the category of all these 3 points. That being said, as for the third point though, as for how he promotes himself though, I'll say this about Mabu. He's keeping it very lighthearted, which is playing towards his advantage. I want to go over this one example, so let me break it down further. So the video you're seeing on the screen right now is a video of Lil Mabu getting caught lacking as he's walking home from class by the paparazzi right after he went viral. Obviously the paparazzi were most likely hired by the boy as a way to create content around him, which is directly connected to his music, and that's the whole point. He created a piece of content around the controversy, and you guessed it, that creates a conversation which directly feeds into his music. So Mabu, he's a smart guy, he's playing along with it, he's going with the flow, he knows what the general consensus of him is, so he played a game of chess and he played into it. A young white rapper who raps about gun violence gets seen walking out of the private school he's attending. Obviously this looks like it was orchestrated by him. Mabu took one of the most controversial aspects of his blow up and created content out of that. He then promoted this video on all the big hip hop pages, which caused even more controversy and more hate, and that in return got him more fans. Let's continue with this last part of the article before we keep on speaking. Mabu clearly leans into some of the subgenres nastier tropes. The article says that's every drill rapper. I don't even know why the fuck they're bringing that shit up. See, this is why I said this article is a little too biased for my taste. Glock came with a beam inside. Run up on him, demon vibe, let it fa fa fa. His videos, some of which have millions of views on YouTube, have included fake shootouts at restaurants in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, with DeLuca implying being hit by gunfire himself. So to sum up the story related to Lil Mabu, he's a white 18-year-old drill rapper from New York who's blowing up. He raps about that street life, but apparently grew up in a wealthy household, and that right there is the oxymoron. Considering what he talks about in the music, how likely is it that someone who comes from this type of upbringing is actually telling the truth in their records? Those are the type of questions people are bringing up as it relates to Mabu and his story. And you know what? These are some very valid questions. If you're going to take up space in any genre, there's going to be people asking questions, and that's of course rightfully so. Why do I say that? Well, if we're going to talk about hip-hop specifically, the amount of rappers we've seen come into this genre who really don't give a damn about the art form is very high. And I think that's definitely traumatized hip-hop in a lot of ways. Personally, you know, especially with how rampant just the fake shit in the industry now is, I'm skeptical of any artist the industry is actively pushing. That's usually a sign that there's someone or something that really wants this artist to win. Who is that? Why are they doing it? Why is this person getting pushed on such a big mainstream level? Who exactly wants this person to win and why? As it relates to Mabu, on a surface, right, all that people see is a young white artist who raps about the same topics as his black contemporaries. A lot of those black contemporaries being drill rappers, Mabu is actually doing better than, and a lot of them have actually seen the things they talk about. Does the same go for Mabu? Regarding that, I'll say this: if you're a white artist in the genre of hip-hop, already from the jump, you're gonna get scrutinized no matter what. That's what simply comes with the territory. Now that's the case for a couple reasons, one of them being because of history. Historically speaking, not just in hip-hop but in music period, black music has time after time been stolen, copied, and appropriated by other cultures. This is why we're so sensitive to outsiders coming in without giving back to the genre. Do you remember this record right here by J. Cole called Fire Squad? History repeats itself and that's just how it goes. Same way that these rappers always bite each other's flows. Same thing that my nigga Elvis did with rock and roll. Justin Timberlake, Eminem, and then Macklemore. While silly niggas argue over who gon' snatch the crown, look around, my nigga, white people have snatched the sound. Word to J. Cole, you get the basic gist of what I'm trying to say. Some general thoughts about Lil Mabu, what I think about him, and some other key takeaways from his story. Number one, and this is the most important thing I gotta say, which is this: you gotta be prepared for what comes with speaking on certain topics. And that's not only a message to Lil Mabu, that's a message to anyone who considers themselves a rapper. If I was sitting down with Mabu right now, I would tell him this: how long do you plan on staying in this drill rapper box? Because the longer you stay being one, the higher the likelihood you're gonna attract the very things you're talking about in your records. If you know me, this is something I really believe in. I think as an artist, the words you say, the topics you hit on, and the energy you put out and carry is not only a reflection of the kind of artist you want to become, but it also reflects the energy that you'll eventually attract. Are you ready for what comes with that? That's something I'd ask Mabu or any young rapper who talks about violence. Also, I want Lil Mabu or any young rapper to remember that your records will eventually impact not only you, but the people you love as well in some capacity, for better or worse. I hope he has the mental foresight to see where this can potentially take him. I just want everybody who's listening to this to know this one thing, okay? Drill rap is a subgenre that promotes death, which is the opposite of life. It's about killing, it's about shooting, and it's about violence. Y'all heard me say this before, but the tongue is indeed a powerful tool. It can be used for good or bad. That entirely depends on the person who that tongue belongs to. So the power isn't really in the tongue itself, it's in the person. Maybe he's not thinking that far. I wouldn't really judge him for that. The guy's 18, he's popping, young, famous. That's probably the last thing I'd be thinking about if I was him, right? But it shouldn't be though, because the amount of rappers we've seen who've gone down this path only to realize that they couldn't handle the heat later on is too many. I don't want that from Mabu, because why the fuck would I want to see a young man who's in the process of changing his entire family tree not succeed? I actually like Lil Mabu. Not so much his music, but more so him as a personality. As I'm analyzing his blow up, it ain't the music that's propelling him to the top, it's the narrative surrounding the music. And obviously I'm talking about the fact that he's a young white drill rapper out of New York. And this is another huge aspect of his success. A young white rapper is generally speaking gonna be a more marketable quote unquote product. And that's because most hip hop listeners are white. The entertainment industry is fueled by white people. The majority of the kids listening to rap nowadays are white kids. Mabu looks like that majority, which in return makes him relatable to that majority. So he has that playing towards his advantage, on top of the fact that he makes the same exact music as his black peers. Combine that with a little bit of virality, a hit or two, and you're good to go. That aside, I wish Lil Mabu the best, and I hope he stays on a good path. He's getting a lot of attention right now. I hope he makes the most out of it, because you only get one of these moments, Mabu. Don't forget that. Anyway, what do you guys think about Lil Mabu? Have you maybe heard the name? Are you familiar with the face? What do you think about him? Curious to hear what you have to say. That being said, have a blessed day. I'm out. Peace.